Nope, I think
Is there a thing?
it's moving.
But the question is, where's the controller?
Yeah,
Is it
she's
that?
looking for it right now.
Gotcha.
I told her we'd have to change it.
Can you see us, Angie?
We
Oh.
almost.
We'll get there.
Oh, you're trying to go to the big screen?
Yeah,
Ah,
Okay, here we go.
all right, I think we're getting there.
Now, which one it is? It's the bottom one, so it's by 4 maybe? Try 4.
there. Oh,
There we go.
Oh, amazing. I love being on a big screen. It's so great.
There we go.
thank you.
All right.
Ashley's like, sweet, I didn't sign up for this. The guests get to be on the big screen too.
Okay,
Audio's working okay?
yeah, we
Nice.
good.
All right.
You take it away, Cari.
Okay, awesome. I am recording, so if anybody wants a recording of this, I know Tony said he's kind of out driving around, so he might want to watch it again. And if anybody else wants to, or if you know somebody that was planning to come, or they come a little bit later and want it, I'll send this off to Angie and Brittany so you guys can get it from them once we're all done. Awesome. Okay, so how many of you guys have completed any sort of business planning for 2024 yet? So about half of you. Okay, cool. If you haven't, this is going to be a little bit interactional, so just yell out an answer. If you haven't, why do you think you haven't? Is it because you've never done it before? You don't really have a template or a document? You haven't had time? Somebody, or those of you that haven't, throw out some answers. And you might have to yell loud for me to hear.
Reluctance.
Reluctance.
Yeah.
Reluctance, is that what that was?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Anything else?
Not knowing where to start at point.
Okay.
Yep, having like where to begin. How many of you have business planned in the past, even if you didn't this year? So there's some that have done it before, they just haven't done it yet for this upcoming year. Okay, cool. Has anybody ever created a life plan? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, a few people. Awesome. Okay, that helps me to just get a little gauge of what we're going off with today. So does everybody know me? Raise your hand if you know nothing about me, because I don't know if anybody really. Okay, so there's a few people. Okay, so I'll take like 2 or 3 minutes to give a little bit of a backstory, because sometimes the things I say don't make a whole lot of sense if you don't know where I came from. So that's why I asked that question. Okay, so I grew up in Minnesota. I'm not there right now, obviously. That's why I'm on the big screen. But I grew up, born, raised in central Minnesota, just south of St. Cloud. I went to college in southern Minnesota. Got a degree that I never did anything with, but it was a great experience. Shortly after getting my degree and having about $35,000 of student loan debt, I decided I was not going to work in corporate America, and I got my real estate license. That was at age 23. My parents thought I had completely lost my mind. But there was just something inside of me, and I don't really to this day have much of an answer for that, other than it's just, I listened to, what now I would call, God telling me like, this is just go down this path. And I just obeyed it. I didn't really have a lot of answers for it, but as a 23-year-old, I was kind of like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm supposed to do this. So I did it. So I got my real estate license. Within about 12 months, I was a top producer with the Edina Realty in Maple Grove. I maintained the number 1 or 2 spot for this next 11 years as a top producer. I raised my 2 boys. We lived in Maple Grove for a while. We moved out to the St. Michael area. So I served all over the Twin Cities metro area. However, most of my business was referral based, or I met them in open houses. That was the 2 ways that I grew my business. I did not have a sphere of influence in the Twin Cities. I grew up in a small town. A lot of the people that I was friends with that lived in the Twin Cities had just graduated from college with a lot of student loan debt as well. So they weren't buying houses. So I really had to build from scratch. I had a really, really great career. I had a pretty crappy life. And that's kind of what drew me into leadership, because again, not coincidentally, 11 years later, when I was really at a breaking point in my life, in all areas of my life, quite honestly, and you can hear that story probably in a lot of my videos, in a longer version. I had an opportunity to move into a leadership role with Keller Williams and Maple Grove at just the quote unquote perfect time, which is just another part of my path that I have identified as like really God's reaching in and helping me know exactly what I needed and how I was prepared for where I am today. And so it was just an amazing journey because I had loved real estate, but I wasn't having a good quality of life. And so when I had the opportunity to become a leader in Keller Williams at that time, back in 2012, Keller Williams was still fairly new in the market. People had a lot of interesting things to say about Keller Williams because it was different. It was new. It wasn't a traditional real estate brokerage. We called ourselves a coaching and training company. You know, we had profit share. We were just really weird is what was kind of the thought process of all the realtors out there. But I knew something that they didn't know, which was we had a really strong team building and business building model that was really being pioneered by Keller Williams at that time. And I completely immersed myself into it, learned everything about it. And within the next 6 years, we grew to the #1 real estate office of all brokerages, of all brands in Minnesota. We sold over 4,000 homes a year, and we had over 40 real estate teams operating out of that office. And it was nothing in my doing. I'm not special. It was because I learned how to help people build a business so that they could have a better life. And I was extremely passionate about that because for the previous 11 years, I did not have a good life while I sold real estate. So it really came out of me wanting to help other people avoid or get out of what I had experienced. And I really just used that experience for good. So that was kind of a trend I started to see in my life was, you know, going through something instead of beating yourself up about it, feeling guilty about it, rather than letting it continue to hold you back, really having the opportunity to use it for something good, to be able to overcome that and be grateful for those experiences, even though they were probably not experiences you'd want to relive, and making it for a reason. We all have a testimony, we all have stories, and they matter to other people. And so I use that story and that testimony to help others. And because of that, I was blessed immeasurably, honestly, without really knowing what I was doing, and still very grateful for that experience. At the end of that time, I had an opportunity to partner with an expansion partner within Keller Williams. He was actually one of Gary Keller's top expansionists on the East Coast. And he asked me if I would help him grow his expansion team across the country. So I found my replacement in the Maple Grove office. I moved into that next chapter and I did that for 5 years. We grew to 27 locations across the country. We grew 27 additional teams. And so the theme was I continued to help people build businesses, helped train and coach, and help to really just link arms with people and do whatever I could to help them be successful. At the end of that journey, I started to feel uninspired about the team building model. And it's not that the team building model changed. It was that the industry was changing, and so was our market. And so was technology. Everything had changed, obviously, over those last 10 years. And so I started to realize that this traditional model was not really fitting into the world of real estate anymore. And what was happening is the team leaders were exhausted, overworked, not making any money. And the team agents were having to work double the amount of time to make the same money. And I had to take a step back because that started to become very inauthentic to who I was. I started to help people build teams so they could have a better life, not so that they didn't have a good life, because that was exactly against what I believed in this industry. So I had a very big decision to make. Great. We had a lot of success, but from an integrity perspective, I couldn't continue down that path. So I resigned from that position. I stayed in business with that business partner. We grew a coaching company. It was a national coaching company, and we had great success. We helped 500 realtors for 2 years' time, around right when COVID started. And we had 20 coaches throughout the country that had grown just in 2 years. It was a fast growing company, and we loved what we were doing, and we were helping realtors in a new way. But I found myself spending 90% of my time working on the operations of building a business and very little time coaching agents. And I wasn't happy. So on my 45th birthday, I woke up and I just didn't feel like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. My husband immediately kind of identified it and said, "You aren't yourself. You don't wake up with your energy. You need to figure something out. This isn't what you're supposed to be doing." So I went on a mission of resources, research, talking to a lot of my coaching partners that I had hired for our coaching company, because they were at companies all over the country and at all different companies. We were a broker agnostic coaching company. So I had coaches from all brokerages. And so I started to just do research and pick their brains and ask questions and learn a little bit more about why they were where they were, what they were doing. And I did a lot of praying. And the answer was that I needed to remove myself from that partnership. It wasn't in alignment with who I was, personally, spiritually, or anything else. It was time for me to build something on my own, because I'd been building things for other people for a long time. And that journey was over, and the new journey to round out my career was going to begin. And I needed to just lean into faith and do it. So I left a 5-figure a month salary, overnight. And I just literally obeyed what I heard I was supposed to do. Was it scary? Of course, most things worth doing are. And within about 6 months, I replaced most of that with personal one-on-one coaching clients temporarily. And I moved my license over to eXp Realty. And now I have 240 real estate partners in 27 states, where they don't have to pay me a penny. I get to link arms with them, help them grow, help them succeed however I can. And it's been the biggest blessing of my life. It's absolutely what I'm supposed to be doing in this last phase of my career. Additionally, my husband and I had an opportunity to open a co-working space here in North Idaho, where we live. We were not looking to start another business, nor have we ever thought about a co-working space, nor had we ever even talked about it. Literally, it had never been a business plan or a business model we had literally ever considered. And so when we walked into a space that we were looking at for my husband's real estate team locally here, we both knew exactly what we were supposed to do with it. It has become an amazing space for entrepreneurs to collaborate, connect, give each other referrals, get new energy, coach each other, train with each other. It has blessed a tremendous amount of nonprofits in our community. We have a lot of marketplace ministry happening, and my husband and I knew that's exactly what was going to happen when we walked in that space. We served over 100 homeless people here in our community for Thanksgiving, and we're just continuing to use that space however we can bless other people with it. But it's also helping people make money and really helping them move through this changing economy, and some of the challenges that all business owners are facing. We have about 100 realtors that work out of that space, but we have 40 other industry professionals that do, from inspectors and transaction coordinators to financial advisors and insurance agency owners, marketing companies and owners, photographers, videographers, and the lenders, title reps are all members, so that they can come in and do their free CE there. The membership allows them space to do that, et cetera. So it's been really, really cool, but the biggest blessing has been the relationships. And that's going to lead me into what I really believe we should be talking about today, which is coming from a place of integrating your life with your business. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about today, and Brittany doesn't know this, but I don't usually tell people this because it freaks them out. I typically don't know what I'm going to talk about until just a little bit before I start talking about it. I used to think that I was just good at like recalling information and just like being spontaneous. I used to say that all the time. I'm not good scripted. I'm just spontaneous, because I didn't really have a lot of self-awareness, but now I'm intentional about actually spending time thinking about and praying about and listening to what intuitively I'm supposed to talk about. And about 99.9% of the time, somebody in the room's like, I don't know how you knew I was supposed to hear what you said today, but I did. So I'm hopeful that today I don't disappoint, because I thought I was going to talk about something else, but I don't think I'm supposed to. So I'm going to talk about something else today. So I'm going to talk for about 35 to 40 minutes. I'll open it up for any questions, give you guys a little bit of time to do your stuff in between. Angie's going to come up, I think, and speak after me, and she's amazing. Those of you that don't know her, you're in for a treat as well. And so today I wanted to talk about two things. Number one, I'm not a big fan of business planning without life planning. And that's why I asked the question at the beginning. There's a great book I'd love you to write down, which is called Living Forward by Michael Hyatt. It's a super short read. If you're into Audible like me, you can listen to it probably in one long walk or run. I think I listened to it multiple times on multiple runs in 1 year. And it was just real short and hard hitting, but very, very good information. So whether you're a leader of your family, your community, your clients, or of a team of real estate agents, or whatever industry you might be in. And just for yourself, like thinking of it as yourself, the whole concept of the book is really that it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. It really doesn't matter at all for you to have joy and feel good about your job. The way you feel about your job or your career is directly related to how you feel about your life. So if your life isn't the way you want it to be, your career will never be great. Your brokerage will never be perfect. Your leader will not be the person you need them to be. The leads won't be good enough. Your clients will, will not be plentiful. Like, it doesn't matter what is actually happening in your career. You will not feel that it's a good career or a fulfilling career if your life isn't in a good place. So when we're trying to fix a bunch of business problems that aren't business related, and we're trying to throw business solutions at things that aren't business at the core or the root, we get no results. So if you found yourself spinning your wheels on a business hamster wheel, I still can't get myself to do the things I'm supposed to be doing. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know how to business plan. I know to say that I need to make $100,000. So in this market, I need to sell 15 houses. I know those things, but I'm not getting myself to do the things that get me to 15 sales a year. I don't enjoy my career. I'm not, whatever these things are that you're struggling with, I'm going to venture to guess it really has no issue in terms of business. It really is a root from something personal. So if you are inclined to move forward into some sort of business planning or life planning, one of the biggest and easiest and most impactful things you can do is simply compartmentalize your life. By the way, business is just it's just one part of life. So when we talk about business planning and then we talk about life planning, basically what we're saying is there's two separate things, our life and our business. That's completely untrue. Our business is just one sector of our life, which is why if our life isn't great, our business is affected. We can't compartmentalize those things. They aren't two separate things, yet we try to compartmentalize it all the time. We have a struggle over here in our family or in our life or in our health or whatever it is, and we just pretend like it doesn't exist and go to work. That's not how it works. We can pretend that that's how it works, and we can pretend that we're ignoring the issue, but it affects everything from our mindset, our focus, our energy, our enthusiasm, everything. Our consistency. So despite maybe having some success, our success is absolutely hindered by what's going on in our life. And sometimes it's not actually what's happening in our life, it's what we're thinking about. It's how we think our life is. And that's the real problem. So number one, your business is part of your life. So write down categories. Your life is the umbrella and business is one category. Your financial security / wealth building is one category. Your social life is one category. Your family and your key relationships are one family. Your health and wellness is one category. And your spirituality is one category. So I just encourage you to write down all the categories and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in each of those categories. Okay. And anything that's a 5 or below would probably be the areas I really would focus on first. Doesn't mean that you're not going to focus on the other areas, but how life works is that when we raise the frequency, so to speak, or the level of happiness or joy, or when we improve one area of our life, it automatically leaks into other areas of our life. So when we raise up 3 of the things that are low, we're going to naturally see the other ones start to raise up as well without actually having to do anything for it. And so that's what happens when you start to improve your life. Your business actually gets better and you don't do anything different. And people don't believe that, but it's absolutely 100% true. I actually spent less time focusing on business when I made my transition out of sales into leadership, when my life was in shambles. I actually stopped all business endeavors, thinking that I was going to completely go to the bare bottom of my income earnings. And I was okay with it because I was going to get my life back on track. And that started with my health and wellness, my spirituality, and my key relationships. And I worked 90% of the time on those things. And my business actually became more successful. I became more successful in business, but I spent less time in business because I was working on myself, and my life is a reflection of, or it's going to allow me to be successful in business or not. So it's counterintuitive, but it's true. So if you have 3, 4, 5 areas of your 8 areas that are low, then what's the one thing, just simply one thing, because you can't do 10 things in different categories. It's unrealistic. It won't happen. And then you'll be sitting in the same place next year. So what is one thing you can do in each of those areas that is 5 or below in your rating? Just one small thing, one small daily change that you could do that would move the needle forward to move it to a 6 or a 7. We're not looking to go from a 5 to a 10 instantaneously. It's not possible. We don't need it to, quite frankly. And what would that look like? So if your health and wellness is struggling, it could be a morning walk with your dog around the block, and it might take 15 minutes, but it's something that you're going to actually commit to. It's not something you're interested in doing. It's something you're committed to doing every single day, 7 days a week, something that you can do 7 days a week. It's 15 minutes. Anybody can do something for 15 minutes, 7 days a week. It's a lie if you tell yourself you can't. There's nothing you can't do for 15 minutes. Okay. Even if in a busy schedule, you have 15 minutes that you can find. Maybe it's drinking more water. It's just simply carrying a water bottle around and increasing your water intake. That's something that you can do in your daily life pretty simply 7 days a week. So you pick one thing. Maybe you're struggling in your personal relationship with a significant other. You could commit to, 15 minutes at night before you go to sleep to connect. 15 minutes. You could walk around the block after work holding hands for 15 minutes. You could decide to do a date night, for 45 minutes or an hour every Friday. My husband and I have done that for like 5 years straight now. We don't skip a Friday. We don't always go out. If we're not feeling like going out for some reason, we still make it intentional that we do something on a Friday night together that is uninterrupted by other people or things. So it's just a commitment. It's something that we commit to doing. It's not, I'm interested in doing this with my spouse. No, I'm committed to doing it because it's important to me. I'm committing to drinking more water because it's my health and it's important to me. And so that's a really important question to ask yourself. Am I interested in doing this, or am I fully committed to doing this? Because if you're interested in this, you're probably not going to show up for yourself. If you're committed to it, you will. I mean, let's just think of marriage. Not everybody's married, but we all probably have been in a situation where we've been around married people. Our parents were probably married at some point. So if you say you're just interested in being married to your spouse, how does that feel? I'm interested. You know what that means. If your spouse said to you, well, I'm interested in being married to you, that wouldn't quite land the same way as I'm committed to you. And if you were interested in being married, you do a whole bunch of things that you shouldn't do. And if you're committed and you actually take that commitment, you do what it takes to make that marriage last, and you don't do the things you shouldn't do. That's the difference, just from a psychological perspective, of shifting from I'm interested in doing something to I'm committed to it. Quite frankly, most of us in real estate are interested in being a realtor, and we're really not committed to it. Same thing with anything in entrepreneurship. That's the real problem. And when you're interested in doing something, you do it when it's convenient. And when you're committed, you do it all the time. You do whatever it takes. And there's not a lot of people that say, I do whatever it takes to make sure that I pay my bills every month in real estate, because there are too many people that are borrowing money and they're not doing what it takes. And I promise you, if you did what it takes, you would go and find the $5,000 you need that month. You would work 80 hours, 90 hours a week if you had to, but you would do what it takes. And if you did that long enough, you wouldn't have to work 80 and 90 hours anymore, because you'll build up momentum where you'll just have business coming and you'll be able to pay your $5,000 a month bills, right? So I'm saying that not to be harsh. I'm just saying that because it's very, very important for you to get clear in all of these areas of your life. Am I interested or am I committed? By the way, if you realize that you're just interested in being a healthier version of yourself, or you're just interested in your spirituality, but you're not really fully committed, it's okay. You first just have to become aware of where you are. It just is what it is. It's not good or bad. It just is. So why is that? So I'd encourage you to just dig a little bit deeper and spend a little bit of time figuring out, well, why is that? What might be holding me back from a total commitment in this versus being just interested in it? Because if you're not aware of that, you're just going to get frustrated with yourself because you're not leveling up. So then it's just becoming a hamster wheel of you being frustrated with yourself because you're not showing up and you're not having success. But the reality is you didn't own your reality in that moment to say, well, it's because I'm not fully committed yet. It will start to wipe away a little bit of that frustration, and it gets you into an action-oriented conversation with yourself, which is like, well, okay, so I'm not, so why is that? And what would make me more committed? Or what do I need to change? It's all about asking ourselves better quality questions. Most people do not ask themselves quality questions, and that's why we don't have a quality of life or a quality business. And so asking yourselves deeper questions and helping yourself become aware of the things that might be holding you back is really, really critical. So when I think of business planning, in a non-traditional sense, it's more about taking your life umbrella and breaking down all of those areas, rating yourself, and then deciding which ones need a little bit of a change, which ones need some recommitting to, and then some self-awareness around maybe which ones I'm not committed to and why, and what could I do to change that. And if you did that, and then in your business sector of the life umbrella, and you say, I want to sell 15 homes, Okay, perfect. You've business planned. You know how to sell 15 homes. And even if you don't know how to sell 15 homes, go Google it. I promise you. Go to my YouTube channel and I'll give you 75,000 ways that you can sell 15 homes. And I say that not to be rude. I say it because everybody has access to so much information. You guys, if you don't know how to do something, you can go figure out how to do it. And there are people in this room that'll tell you exactly where to go. So it's not our lack of access to information. It's not that we don't know what we're supposed to do or how to do it. It's that we're not doing it. That is the greater problem at hand. And so that's why it's better to look at our entire life and start to realize that some of these things are probably holding us back from getting into action. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why that might be. Angie, myself, we're happy to have a more in-depth conversation with anybody who's struggling with that. So all you have to do is reach out to us, because that's more of a personal one-on-one conversation, but this should start to get you thinking in the right direction and making sure that as you're planning how that your business fits into your life and how it's integrated. That moves me into the second place that I felt I should talk today, which is about doing real estate and thinking about real estate sales in a different way. Because if our life is integrated in our business integrated in our life, they're integrated together. There's no balance of anything, you guys. At any given moment, you're going to spend more time in one area of your life than others because you need to. But there's no perfect balance. There never will be. Don't subscribe to that myth, because all it's going to do is frustrate you. I did that for 10 years and it just does not work. Not only does it not work, it makes you feel like a failure for trying to do something that you can't do, because it's not possible to find balance. Okay. But what you can do is you can find integration. And so one of the things that I find in real estate is people don't get themselves out there and have enough conversations. You guys, the only way that you can sell real estate is by having more conversations with more people. That's it. There's absolutely no other way you're going to sell more real estate, because if you don't talk to more people, you can't sell more real estate. So, but the problem is we don't know how to have more conversations, because either we're too salesy, and our personality allows us to just go for go for the gusto and just start slamming everybody about real estate, or we don't want to talk to anybody about real estate because we don't want to be that guy. And there's no happy medium, and we don't know what to say to people, and we don't know who to call, and we don't want to bother them. And it's all of these limiting beliefs and these things in our mind that are telling us why we should get ourselves out there. The reality is that number one, what we think is not usually what anybody else thinks. And so if you think everybody's thinking about you, looking at you, worrying about you, then you're way too self-indulged. First of all, everybody's thinking about themselves and their problems. They're not worrying about what you're doing on social media and what you're saying. And oh my gosh, she's talking too much about real estate. Nobody is thinking about that. Okay. That's what your mind's telling you. But it's not what other people's minds are telling them. So that's the first reality. But the second reality is that if you feel like you're bothering people, you probably are. Like, I mean, then do something different, right? Say something different, come from a different place of contribution. And that's where I want to come from today. I had this great opportunity to speak amongst some top producing agents. And what I said to them is, you have to figure out how you can be the best version of yourself with the giftings that you've been given. And you need to go use those for the betterment of the human population and allow it to get you into more conversations with people. And then you'll sell more real estate, because that's how it works. Okay. So in other words, there's something called the law of reciprocity. It actually exists. And that is that if I go and help somebody with something, they naturally want to reciprocate and help me in some way. I don't have to ask them. They aren't even thinking about it. They just automatically want to do it. It's a subconscious reaction, and it's a behavior that they want to display. And every time you help somebody without an expectation of getting helped back, without saying something like, hey, okay, it's awesome, I'm glad I helped you, but when you think if you know somebody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, think of me. Okay, that's not going to create the law of reciprocity. What's going to create the law of reciprocity is, I'm here to help you no matter what you need. Let me connect you with somebody. I know somebody in the community that you should know, and I have no expectation of anything else happening from that other than I got the opportunity to help somebody today and get into a conversation with another human being. Somebody else knows me and I added value to their life today. And then I'm going to go and do that with somebody else. And the law of reciprocity has proven that if you do that enough times, you're going to get enough of what you need as well. But you can't if they don't know you're a real estate agent. So there's two parts to this equation. Number one, you've got to be proud of your services and who you are and how you can help people. So if you're afraid to put out there that you're a real estate agent, then you're probably not in the right career. Or you're not the right company, or you don't have the right resources, or you don't have the confidence. Something is happening that is making you not proud to share what you do. By the way, we're human beings. We're not human doings. So what you do doesn't define who you are. It's just one role you play on earth. So if you're over attached to the role of real estate agent and you're like, oh, that defines me now, and people don't like realtors, so I don't want to tell people I'm on, well, then you need to go look into who you actually are as a human being, because real estate is not it. Okay. No one's a real estate agent. They are practicing real estate. Okay. So this is what you get to do, by the way. Now you have to do it. Nobody has to do this. Honestly, I've been blessed that I get to do this for 23 years. And if you don't have that mentality, this is going to be a rough career. And that's okay if you don't yet, but you should analyze that and ask yourself why. Because it's a very, very blessed industry, and we get to do a lot of great things with a lot of great people, and we get to be involved in a really awesome emotional transaction for many, and we get to be part of something that many of them remember for most of their lives and transitions of their life. We get to develop relationships. We get paid to work on ourselves so that our business can grow. There's a whole bunch of reasons that we should feel blessed being in this career. And if we don't believe that, then maybe it's not for us, and that's okay. And if you do feel like it's for you, then you got to start believing that. You got to start seeing that opportunity. By the way, the reason you don't see it is because you're just not thinking about it correctly. And I say correctly, there's no right and wrong way, but there is. I mean, you either decide that this is something you get to do, or you decide it's something you have to do. And the way you think makes you feel a certain way and then makes you act a certain way. So you are choosing how you think, what you're allowing your mind to say to yourself. And then it is going to be a reflection of how you act. So that's just a daily choice to wake up and be like, I get to do this. I get to negotiate with this other agent that really is hard to deal with, but I get to, because guess what? That client, they picked me. So I get to do that, and I get to help them buy a house today. So who cares what happens in between? It's the result and it's the opportunity that you get to have that other people, by the way, would have wanted really bad, right? There's other realtors out there that didn't get that client, that didn't get that opportunity to have a hard conversation with a realtor that's hard to deal with. And they would really be happy if they had it today. It's all about perspective. So the reality is that you need to be out there being proud of who you are and what you do. And if you have some missing links in there, then you need to be around people that are going to help give you the tools, the confidence, the solutions, so that you feel proud of what you can do. If you don't feel that anybody that comes to you is going to get the best service and have the best experience, then you need to identify, why don't I feel that way? And what am I missing in my business? What am I missing in my education? Or what am I missing in my leadership in order to feel that way? And then you need to go make a change. And I don't care where you change to, but you can't stay there. Because if you don't believe that every single time you have a conversation with somebody, you're not giving them the opportunity to have the best experience when they buy, sell, or invest in real estate, then they should go work with somebody else, right? I mean, no, we should feel like I'm going to take care of that person in a way that nobody else is. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to do my due diligence. I'm going to work my butt off for them. And they are going to be happy that they chose to hire me. And I know I will do a great job for them. You have to get to that place. Once you get to that place, then you're not shy of telling people, I get to be a real estate agent and I love what I do. And I do it really stinking well. And I love the people I get to work with. And this is a blessed life. Okay. So that's one side of it. The second side of it is, you don't have to sell people on this if you believe this. So now you start just being the best version of yourself while people already know you are a real estate agent that can service them. By the way, you're never going to talk somebody into buying, selling, or investing in real estate. They're only going to do it when it's their time and they want to anyway. So there's no sales there. It's just about being there and available to them and having contributed to their life in the way that makes them want to call you and help you when the time is that they need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. So are you a connector? Are you really good at planning events? Are you really good at marketing and promoting? Are you really good at video? What kind of skill sets? Are you good at teaching? What kind of skill sets have you been blessed with? What kind of giftings do you have as a human being that you can now bless other people with? For me, I'm a connector. I connect people on a daily basis. I remember what people tell me about them. I remember what they do. I remember what they need. And when I come across somebody that needs to, or has something that they could need or would be a good connection for them, I stop whatever I'm doing and I connect them. Do I get anything from that connection right then and there? No. And I don't want to. I don't care. It has become a habit of me using my giftings. So if somebody says, gosh, I'm looking for a new job, this just happened the other day. I had somebody who was working in a whole different capacity, told me his whole life story, joined our co-working space. He's not in real estate. I spent some time getting to know him. I liked him. I had a feeling about him. I just really liked where his heart was. And I just said, I hope you can use this space. I hope it creates connections for you. 4 months later, I had a husband and wife. Probably 3 months later, a husband and wife came who planted a church. They use our space on the weekends and they own an insurance agency. And she mentioned to me that they were looking to hire somebody. And she mentioned something in passing about like life insurance. And I didn't really connect the dots. I was like, wait, I thought you did auto and home and whatever. And she's like, oh, we do, but we also do life. And we actually have medical benefits and things of that nature. And I said, oh my gosh, well, I need to connect you with somebody. I don't know if he's still looking for a job, but there's a gentleman in here. He's been working in the oil fields. He doesn't want to be far from his family. He just got his life insurance, license. And I just think you guys would hit it off. And I have no idea what connection this might lead to, but I just think you guys should know each other. And so I made the connection. Long story short is like 2 or 3 months later now, they're actually going to be in business together. They hired him. And he found out his wife was pregnant. And so now he doesn't have to travel to North Dakota for 3 weeks out of the month, which he was in tears because he was so worried about that while, she was going to be pregnant and they have a new baby. So it all worked out the way it was supposed to. The point is that I'm not looking, did I get a coaching client from that? Did somebody join me at EXP from that? No. Are either of these people in real estate? No. Nothing beneficial comes to me in that moment from that connection. But what comes to me in that connection is I have 2 people out there that know that I wanted to help them and help their life be better in some way, that I impacted them in some way. And they will not forget that. And they will come to me. If I'm out there telling them what I do, they will send people to me that I need. It's just what happens. It's been the story of my life for the last 15 years, 20 years. So I'm not out there talking, how many people can I go talk to about real estate? That's not what I'm doing. How many people out there can I connect with and can I figure out how to help? So if you're not a connector, but you are really good at planning events, go find a nonprofit that you could just volunteer at, that you could really, truly bring your giftings and do something that helps bring them more exposure. If you're out there planning an event for a nonprofit and you're getting a lot of people in there, you get to meet all those people, and the people that are coming to that have a similar passion for that particular nonprofit. And they're going to be like, wow, you did all this. You have a great skill set. Oh, who are you? What do you do? This is what I do. And guess what? Now you just met a bunch of people who are really, really grateful for what you just did and have something in common with you in terms of an interest or a passion, that now that know that you're a realtor, that would rather come and bless you with a referral than somebody else that they don't know, that doesn't have a similar interest or hasn't done something for a nonprofit that they feel a heart for like you. But you're not talking about real estate. Okay. If you are somebody that's great on video, go out and do video interviews with every small business owner in your community and bless them, because they're scared to do video and they don't know how and they don't want to. Interview them and give them a place to be out on social. Trust me, they will want to supply business opportunities to you because you poured into them and helped them. By the way, if you're out there in your community members are going to be like, wow, this person really gives back to other community members. I like that. I want to work with them. I'm a small business owner too. I'd like to work with somebody that has a heart for small business owners. And you didn't say any of that. You just use the gift that you have to go bless other people. So to me, doing real estate in a new way is finding a way to go out and do, instead of having 25 real estate conversations a week or a day, whatever your goal is, go out and find 25 people to provide some sort of value to. Go out there and make a connection. Go out there and volunteer. Go out there and do something for another small business owner. Go out there and help some homeowners or do something special for a neighborhood. Go do something that you feel called to do. Because when everybody talks about this big why, how many of you have heard the the big why. You need a big why to help you. Anybody? Okay, some people. Or find your purpose so that you can be motivated to wake up every day to do something. Well, first off, number one, you're not gonna be motivated to do anything. That's just a myth. If you're waiting to be motivated to do something, you're gonna be waiting for a very long time. It's a myth. You're not gonna be motivated. I don't wake up motivated to do something. I commit to doing something, whether I'm motivated or not. I do it. And when you do something, the motivation comes after. Okay. So that's a misunderstanding. So people will actually say, I'm just not motivated. I just can't do it because I'm not motivated. It becomes an excuse, but it's not because they're trying to find an excuse. It's because they really think they have to be motivated to do something. It's not true. No one that started something that they have gone through that they've been successful with started motivated. You know why? Because everybody starts out not knowing what to do, feeling like very unequipped, feeling nervous, unsure, scared, fearful, don't want to fail, don't want to look like an idiot. Like, think about it. When you go to the gym for the first time and you're out of shape, is anybody motivated to do that? No one, zero people are motivated to do that. That they are committed to doing it because they don't want to stay in that position, but they're not motivated to do it. And the motivation comes after they go a few times and they start realizing they can do it and they feel better. And then the act of doing actually creates the motivation. So you're not going to be motivated to go do the things you need to do. You just got to start doing them because you're committed to them, and then the motivation will follow. The purpose and the big why, like you have to wake up every day. Everybody says the same thing. I've coached thousands, literally thousands of real estate agents over the last 12 years. And if I ask somebody what their big why is, and I was taught to do this, so for a while, this was what we talked about. What's your big why? Well, my family. Everybody's big why is going to be their family. Everybody's big why is going to be, I need money so that I can survive, and I need money so I can eventually retire. I want to help my family. If it's not that they are married and have children, it's their parents, it's their siblings. Like, of course, that's what we want to do as human beings. Okay. But we all want to do that. It's not our why. It's like, of course we do. We love those people. And that's, as humans, that's how we are. So if we're trying to go, okay, I want to have money so I can help my family, and this is what I'm going to muster up inside of me to go do something. Trust me, if that was all it took, we'd all be doing everything, because we all want that. It doesn't get us to do anything, or we'd all be doing it. We'd all be making all the money we need to make, right? So the big why is something that I think we've been thinking about wrong. It's got to be this big grandiose thing that we wake up and we read about and we have to go towards. And there are, yes, I believe in reading what my goals are and reading what my passions are and what I intend and going out there and doing that. That's not what I'm saying, but I don't want you to get lost in something so big that you can't get yourself to do the daily commitments, because that's what happens to a lot of people is like, I have to have this big purpose, or I just feel like crap and what I'm doing is insignificant. Living a life as you are as a human being, how God created you to go out and make somebody's life better, is all the purpose that anybody needs. It's exactly what we were put on this earth for, is to be the best version of ourselves, love people, help people, serve people, and do the right thing for people, make somebody else's life a little bit better. And in return, we feel good about ourselves. Like, I actually learned that my purpose is to wake up every day to be the best version of myself, to commit to that, so that I can actually be better for the people around me, because that's why I was put on this earth. It could be my family members, it could be my clients, it could be just people that are put in my path. And so if you can wake up every day going, how many people can I just make their life a little bit better today? How can I offer some value to people today? That is how you can contribute to society, and it's how you can grow your business, and it's how you can find purpose. And it all intertwines. It's all the same thing. So we're thinking a little bit, I think, too hard about this, and we're making it too complex, which is what human beings like to do. It's really pretty simple. So when I start coaching with people and I realize that they're really hung up on what they say and what the script is and what to do and all of those things, when I start saying, just go and name 5 people today that you want to reconnect with, that you can bless in some way, that you can go to a coffee with, that you can see what's going on in their life, that you can just lend an ear to, that you can hear if they need something, and maybe you can connect them with somebody, and they start doing that on a consistent basis, they become a much happier version of themselves, and they start getting real estate business. because they stopped overthinking it and they started just being a human being and started to actually just get into back into relationships and conversation with people. And were intentional about listening to what people said to see if they could help them in some way. And they left their day feeling very, very productive, very purposeful, and very happy and very satisfied because they were able to do those things that they felt really, really good about. And then they started to see that those favors came back to them in return, because that's what the law of reciprocity has proven. And then they were like, oh, so now I'm not stressed. Like, I'm getting business and I'm getting to do this. So when we start getting so tied up in, I have to go do all these things, and we don't like anything we're doing, like we're doing all these real estate activities and we don't like any of them. Like, what are we doing? How are we going to be successful if we force ourselves to do a bunch of things that we don't even like to do? It's not going to work. And we don't feel like we have purpose, and we're not satisfied with our job. And then we're not making money either. And then it's just this really vicious kind of mindset and hamster wheel that we go down. So think about it in a different way. Think about how you can serve people. I use it an example of, if any of you, get leads, it doesn't matter how. If you're in an open house, if you purchase leads, if, you get a sign call, something comes online, or even a referral, but even the cold leads, just think about this. One of the biggest things people are taught is, okay, we need to, yes, build rapport, the LP Mama script, ask them all the questions about their life and why they're moving and what's going on. I like that. You want to be able to know the questions to ask people to build a bond. There's no doubt, and build and find commonality and get them to trust you. So do that, but don't do it in a way that's just firing off 20 questions. Do it in a way that's actually trying to hear what they're saying, hear what they need. Ask them questions and really, truly, intentionally and purposefully be present and listen to what they're saying. And I had a team that I was coaching, and they get a lot of leads of people that are moving from out of state. People don't know exact timing, all of those things. And I said, well, what if you stopped worrying about when they're moving and what they want to buy and all of those things in the first conversations? And what if you started just asking them, what do you need from me to help you make this move and this transition to this new area more smooth, less stressful? What kind of connections do you need? Are you looking for schools? Are you looking for this? What can I do for you right now just to help you feel a little bit less anxious and nervous about this move? And what if you actually just started connecting them to those things without any sort of pressure or obligation to use you as a real estate agent in those first conversations? What do you think would change? A lot of things started to change for them. They, number one, got excited to call these people. They were excited to call these people. Why? Because they actually were like, I can help them. I'm going to do something good. I'm going to make their life easier. I'm not going to go in there trying to win their business. Day one, the second they call me, I'm going to try to be their realtor. First of all, they don't know you, they don't like you, and they don't trust you, and they're not going to say they want to work with you day one. So what are you doing and who are you being to connect with that other human being on the other side of the phone to find out what they need so that you can just be a good human and help them? Because you're going to be more excited to actually talk to people and get on the phone with somebody if you do that. And then they're going to start to like you, trust you, and get to know you. They're not going to avoid your phone calls. They're going to actually pick up the phone and call you and say, gosh, Cari, sorry to bother you again, but we really need to find this resource for our son. Do you know anybody? Why are they going to do that? Because you already started offering those types of things without any strings attached. Now you become the expert and the person, their conduit to where you live, that they want to come to without feeling like there's some sort of expectation. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you feel different about it. They feel different about it. And you're going to convert more business, but it's not because you're trying to trick them into working with you. It's because you're being the best version of yourself and you're actually coming from a place of contribution. So that's my philosophy for real estate in a new way, moving into the new market, is that just to be finding who you are as a human, translating those skills into other people, not necessarily having to tie it to real estate, but make sure people know you're a realtor. And when you start to do that, I think that you're going to find that your business is going to grow a lot more easily, and a lot more fluid. And it's going to feel very integrated with your life because you get to be who you really are, instead of trying to compartmentalize these things into two buckets, being somebody over here and then doing this over here. That's not how we're meant to live our lives, and business is no different. So when we can start to combine those things, it's really, really powerful. Okay. So I'm going to be done talking now. Any questions, ahas? I have just a couple minutes before I have to pop off Zoom to my next call. And I know you guys have stuff that you're doing, but I would like to take the next like 2 minutes with any ahas that you guys may have
Any aha moments for Cari?
or questions.
She's fantastic. She talks really fast. Though. Got a lot of info.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear.
I said you are amazing. I
Oh.
said you talk really fast, but you.
I recorded it so you can watch it.
So.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good testament, and I think that this kind of, not in real estate per se in finance, but I think that really, being in this industry, real estate, finance, title, it's a lifestyle. And I think that, that really, how you talk about integration is really symbiotic with that lifestyle mentality, meaning your friends are your clients, are your sphere, are your everything. And it's not a 9 to 5. You don't get up and go to work, leave it at home, leave it at work, and then come home. It's really an extension of your everyday.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think
great.
it's really affirming to hear you talk about integration.
I really liked at the end when you talked about releasing expectations as well, because it not only for your clients and you, it helps with you too. So if you release like, okay, these people don't have to buy and sell with me, I'm just here to help them. It makes things so much more easier and less pressure on yourself of like, I have to convert these people. You
Right.
know, it's like you have that mindset and it comes, you know, through when you talk to people. So if you release expectations from them, like
Yes.
using you and vice versa, like it really makes it more organic and people trust you more. So I really appreciate that.
People feed off of that, right? And so when people see that you're one, you need this transaction, they feel it, right? And so it comes off a completely different way than you just coming in, you're like,
Yeah.
I'd love to work with you, but I'm okay if you don't.
Yeah.
Right? I just want you to have a good experience nonetheless. They sense a completely different vibe. And generally speaking, you come off a completely different way. Where, like, yes, it's the energy that, you know, that you talk about. And so, I mean, when I started picking up on that since we've been working together, and I mean, I ended up having people sign my contracts a lot quicker because of it, because I'm just like, I'm comfortable with the fact that we don't need to work together. And then it's like, oh, I'm comfortable with it. And then they're asking me to sign the contract. I'm like, I don't have to push. So, you know what I mean? So much. But I think just having those expectations just across the board with whatever industries, I know there's a few different industries here. And having that expectation on the personal side or professional, right? Going in for a sports team and just being like, hey, let's go, let's play, let's be a team, right? And be comfortable with whatever the outcome is and being together, you're gonna be a better team because you're comfortable with that, right? So you're gonna collaborate more together. It's unique how that all works.
And I think the last part of that before I have to pop off of Zoom is really honestly, the faith. So you have to be able to exercise your faith muscle. If you don't have faith that if you do enough good deeds for other people, that you're going to be blessed with what you need to pay your bills too, then you can't truly unattach to the outcome. And then you will struggle with that. So it really is, you know, you can either choose to have the fear, which is where scarcity comes from and where the attachment comes from, or you can choose to have faith. By the way, you can't see either of them. And you have to choose one, you can't have both. So it's a choice. It's a daily choice of fear over faith. And when I moved into just faith, that if I did enough things that for other people, that I would get what I needed, I could truly fully unattach the outcome. And that's when my business blossomed really and continues to. And then once you do that and you start seeing it work, your faith grows. But you have to choose it at the beginning. And you know, you're choosing one of them right now. You're choosing something that is not able to be seen. You just have to reflect on which one am I choosing on a daily basis when it comes to my life and my business and all these areas. So Well, hopefully this was super helpful to you guys. I don't know, are you gonna be able to log into a different Zoom for Ashley and Anthony, or are you for the rest of the?
Right, we can do them.
Yeah, I can send, I don't know Anthony's email.
I know,
Okay,
Tony,
Okay.
will see you.
So Ashley and Anthony, check your email, log into the next Zoom, and then that's gonna be for Angie's talk. Nice to see you guys.
thank you.
Thanks, guys. I'll send the recording, so if anybody wants it, you guys can have it.
Let's start in for raffle prize.